Hi everyone, thank you for joining me. So I said that I would do a video giving the results of my entries into the Squimar Open, which was a competition, obviously a painting competition. I entered three items, one for each category. One was large miniature, which is the giant, single miniature, which is Old Tom down there, and the diorama class, or it was also the squad class. So out of these three items, I didn't win anything at the Open. I didn't get bronze, silver or gold for any of them, and somebody posted on Instagram that one of their figures got a commended, but I didn't think there was a commended category either, so I don't know. So gotta admit, I was pretty bummed when I found out that I hadn't achieved anything, I'll be honest with you, I went on a bit of a downer because I believe I believe I'm a good painter. I don't believe that I'm a very good painter, but over the years people have said that I'm a very good painter, and so it just goes to show that that's not the case. Now let's go out of that and let's try and be a bit more constructive about it. First thing is, there were 3,000 entries. All the entries were photographed by people who were entering stuff, and the photographs were sent in to the Squimar guys for them to judge. So 3,000 entries. 2,000 didn't get anything, so I was one of the 2,000. Or was I 3 of the 2,000? Perhaps I was 3 of the 2,000, yeah. So first thing, you're sending in photographs. So if your photographs are crap, then they're going to judge your figures on the photographs that you send in, so that's not a good start. And I'm not particularly good at doing photographs. So that's that. Second thing is, all these figures are old figures. None of them were painted specifically for the event. So again, there's that. Whereas people will have been painting figures specifically for the event. Third thing, if we look at Old Tom, he's on a gaming base. He has been painted and based for gaming. That's not what this competition is about, I believe. Some people might tell me that's wrong. I don't think it is. People are painting figures in order to win a competition. They may be gamers, but they're not putting their gaming figures forward for the competition. The one exception to that may be the squads. So for instance, if you've got 5 figures, you will put them on a diorama base, and you may still have the figures on their gaming bases, but you will slot them into a diorama. So I feel entering my figure that's a gaming piece was not the right thing to do in the single miniature category. The other thing is, the fourth thing, when you put your entry in, as far as I could tell, there was no way you could give any details about your entry. So for instance, the judges may have looked at the diorama of the A7V, the German World War I tank, and they may have thought that's 1/35 scale. So there's, I could be wrong, they could have seen it and gone, that's 1/72, and it's not that good. But there's no context. I think that was possibly one of the other things. So, going forward, initially there was no going forward for me. It's just okay, well that's it then. I paint figures, if you like, for gaming and for armies, and therefore I'm not going to be a contender against people who paint for competitions. And that I felt like that for quite a while, but then I think it was this week I had the realisation that I am at the bottom. If you like, I am at the bottom. Because I didn't achieve anything in this competition, I am at the bottom. So if I can improve on some of these things, the photography, the basing, the setting, if you like, initially those, then perhaps there will be enough of an improvement in order to do something better in the future. I've just noticed the sun's kind of interfering with the camera, so let me just move the camera a bit. The other thing is that, as I mentioned, I've painted these previously and then entered into the competition. So if I'm painting for a figure competition, I need to be painting a figure to compete, not just show off my work. So although I think Old Tom is one of the best figures I've ever painted, there must be room for improvement. Now, as I've already mentioned, if I put him on a different base, if I put him in a different context, then it may be he would have done better. I don't know. So I need to look at the things I've already mentioned, but also some of the painting techniques that I may not have used. If we take Old Tom out of the equation for the moment, for instance the giant, there's no, looking at him, there's no variation in the skin tone. So if we look at his belly, for instance, this section should be lighter, all this section should be lighter than the rest of the figure, but it's not, it's the same colour, so there's no, I think it's object light source OLS or OSL, object source lighting, to give on that figure. So that's something else I need to look at in the future. The same could be said for the diorama, although I still think I expected that to at least get bronze anyway. So yeah, those are the results of the competition, and those are my musings about my initial thoughts and then my thoughts now. I will enter the competition if they hold it next year, with a view that I can perhaps do better. Well, I can't do any worse, can I? You know, if I don't get anything again, then it's like, well, that's no worse than I did last year. So yeah. Anyway, I'm waffling on a bit, but I thought I'd let you know. Thanks ever so much for watching, I do appreciate it. I hope your weekend is going well. As you can see, we've got beautiful sunshine here in Birmingham at the moment. Had a lovely walk along the canals this morning and a cup of coffee. And now I am upstairs painting some gyrocopters once I finish this video. Look after yourselves, and I'll catch up with you soon.